Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first Trio Talk of 2021. Hey, guys. Hey,
Fantastic.
Patrick. Hey, Daryl. How are you guys?
Happy New Year,
We're
man.
excited for 2021, man.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Look at us. We're all decked out in our Trio hoodies and
I just
vests
got my
today.
vest on.
Yeah, I know. It's very nice. Is it cold where you're at right now? It's definitely cold where I'm at right
I
now.
think it's cold everywhere right now.
Yeah,
Unless you're in Hawaii or, you
that's
know,
true. That's
I
true.
think it's
That's
pretty much
true.
cold everywhere. There's that storm coming in too. In
Yeah.
the Texas market right now, there's a pretty big storm coming in, I think. So, yeah, it's winter.
hmm
It definitely is.
It definitely is winter. So, well, but it is also a new year. So I have to ask, guys.
Did we lose them? Uh-oh.
Well, we can answer the question next
Yeah, we
ourselves.
can.
So
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
I mean, mine was pretty low key, Daryl. So we ordered out dinner and we watched a movie and we watched the Times Square ball drop in New York, and then basically stood and watched, turned 12 o'clock and went to bed. Yeah.
So you
That sounds
supported local
exciting.
business and you watched watched something 3 hours ahead of you and then went to bed. But you were saying earlier you did a puzzle. What was the puzzle?
It was a cat puzzle. So they had
There you
actually,
go.
it was kind of funny because I kind of had cats representing all of the cats that at least two of my kids have. So one that we used to have until we gave it back to them. But yeah, so it was kind of fun.
Oh, you gave the cat back? Oh.
No, it was all good.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm used to seeing the cat somewhere on your desk and I was actually going to ask. So there you go. Daryl, how about you? How did you celebrate the new year?
Similar to Patrick, it's a COVID year, so we were at home with the kids, and fortunately, you had a nice evening, played some games, watched a movie, and yeah, we did watch the New York ball drop. There's nothing going on the West Coast, so I mean, there was some crazy thing with the Space Needle that they were doing this year, which was trying to simulate fireworks. I don't know what the point is, but anyway, so yeah, we had a nice evening, and it's off to the races right in 2021, right?
Absolutely. I played a mean game of Yahtzee and lost, and played Wii Bowling and won. And
Uh,
then we
I
actually
like
had
Wii
a lot of
bowling.
fireworks here in Las Vegas. None, I think there was one maybe on the strip, but these were all, we could look at our house and just see them over the tops of houses going off like crazy. So that was kind of nice to at least see that. And they went on for quite a while. There were all some official ones as well. So, got to see some fireworks, which is nice. So, yeah, but the unofficial ones were actually a little bit more entertaining this year. So,
Good.
but what can you do? Oh, we have a Facebook user here. Hello, gentlemen. Hello, whoever this is. I appreciate
Appreciate you.
that.
Appreciate the reach out.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, it's the beginning of the new year. And so that means, of course, there's going to be a promo, right? And so what is this promo? Well, it's very similar to the one that you just experienced, but it is their Trio Ready promo. And you probably saw the Trio Ready emails go out yesterday. The newsletters go out yesterday. They go out every week and they are updated all the time. And as you can see on these, they have finder's fees. So if you are able to get a customer into one of those homes, fantastic. You're going to be able to you're going to get that finder's fee, which is really fantastic. So that's our promo going on those Trio Ready homes.
Yeah, and I
And
think the
for
important thing
go
on
ahead.
that, Aaron, just to
Mhm.
just to chime in here is that, especially this week, if you look at it, there's a lot of coming soons. So there's
Yeah.
opportunities to get
Mhm.
customers into homes before they go on the market. And so if you're, hearing this in Texas and in Georgia, I know we've got, in both of those markets, we've got some coming soon homes that are, this is the first time that they're being out there on the market for you guys to be able to have first access to them.
No, that's absolutely correct. So take a look at those. Yeah, there are a lot of coming soons right now. And for people that write into us and ask, well, do you have any more homes than these Trio Ready homes? I think it's important to remember that these are just the ones that we have available in our inventory.
Mhm.
But any homes that are for sale that are underneath that FHA loan limit, which brings me to my next segment, is important. Those are available for Trio. So the FHA loan limit has risen in 2021, and some areas more significantly than others. Patrick, can you talk about that for just a second?
Sure. So the FHA loan limit is probably most of our audience is aware of, rose from 2020 level of the floor being 331,760 up to 356,362. So that covers really most of the markets. But then in places like Las Vegas, Clark County, it's a little bit higher. In places like throughout California, it's typically much higher. Around Dallas, Texas, it's higher than the low, but in Houston, it is at that 356 number. So, just pay attention to your local market areas. We do on every time we receive an uploaded contract from our agents. That is something we verify when we go through our pricing and preliminary pricing for our customers. So, yeah.
And of course, Trio can go to 103% of that FHA loan limit. Excuse me. And some people ask, well, how do I do the math on that? Well, we've actually already done the math for you. If you go to thinktrio.com/locations, if you look at our map, there's actually drop-down menus there for state, county, and then it'll actually give you what Trio can go ahead and pay for that home. So if you want the exact number or something you can go ahead and talk to your customers about, go ahead and take a look there. It is updated on our website. It's a great resource. A lot of people didn't always realize that was there, but I did see a huge uptick since we actually announced it in December. So please pay attention to that. It's a great, great resource for you and your customers. Speaking of customers, let's talk about who are Trio customers, because I think this is really, really important. And this has kind of come out of several conversations I've had with agents and lenders recently, saying different things about how they're marketing to customers. And it's interesting, obviously we can go to a certain down to a certain credit score and down to a certain monthly income. But I always think if you're marketing to that level, you're going to get people hoping to get to that level, right? Not people above that level. Is that I'm not sure if I'm explaining that well enough. Daryl?
Yeah, I think, no, you're talking about it right, but basically, look, the reality is that home prices in all your different markets are different, right? And if you know the general income that it takes to be able to afford that home, marketing to folks that are below that income level isn't going to get you into a closed home. We may issue an approval, but their ability to close on that property and afford that home is going to be, lacking. And so I think that's the case. And so when you think about the successful folks that work with our program and actually move into the homes, on credit score and on income, Patrick, I know that we keep these numbers up to date, but our credit score on average is somewhere in the mid 600s. And income wise, we're somewhere in the kind of 70 to 80,000 on average. Is that generally correct?
630, just maybe a little bit over that in terms of our average credit score. And then, in terms of income, again, this is just an average, right, across the board, around 95,000.
Okay, so higher. Yeah, and again, that's all based on market. So obviously California, certainly you're paying higher amounts for homes in Dallas. When you get outside of that and you have lower homes that are available, Houston, we're seeing a lot of this in new homes where, folks are able to get into $160,000, $170,000 home. So you need to understand that, but be focusing on where those opportunities are. And like Aaron mentioned, and we've talked about previously, think about your market area and where people make their money. So if you're in the Vegas area, there's a lot of tip income, right? If you're in markets where there's, folks that are in sales and you've got commissions, commission income's another one that's hard for people to get banked, if you will, and approved by a mortgage underwriter. And small business owners are a huge segment of our customer base. And so, targeting those types of customers with your marketing, yeah, you may get a bunch of leads from other sorts of marketing, but successfully converting those leads into closings is going to be the big gap of your time, energy, and resources, right? So putting some more targeted thought behind that is just a great idea.
Absolutely. We actually have a question here from somebody in the Las Vegas area. This comes from Mr. Paul May, a fantastic singer, performer, and also real estate agent in our area. So, who was a performer on the Strip for many, many years. He says, gentlemen, can you break down, he's so formal, I appreciate it. Gentlemen, can you break down how much of the increased payment above the FHA payment against the Trio house home is saving towards down payment?
Yeah, and basically what you're saying is how much are they earning in terms of down payment assistance over the life of their lease with us? And Patrick, why don't you just briefly go through that math, because it is the same on every payment. It's based on the home price and the value of that home, and not the value of the home, but a mechanic around that home price and where their option price is set in the future.
Yeah, so basically when we price out your lease and the home that, based on the contract that you've submitted to us, and the qualifying factors of the customer. So we set a floor price on that lease, and that's based off of what we call the gross capitalized costs, or all the costs, added up to close and pay for the home, including closing costs and everything else. And so we set that at a discount to actual market appreciation rates. We set it at a 2.5% appreciation factor per year of your lease. So typically over 3 years, that'd be about 2.5% times 3, it's 7.5%. And then for first-time home buyers and qualifying for our Trio First program, we set that option price at 1% per year. So that difference which is 1% a year over 3 years, would be 3%. So the difference between 7.5% and 3%, or 4.5%, is the amount that's earned through paying your lease payments on time, and we call that home purchase assistance. And so when it's time for them to move forward to purchase the home, this is maximized after 24 months of on-time payments. If the home appraises for that higher value at that, based on a actual market change of over 2.5% a year, hopefully, then they're able to use that difference between whatever that appraised value is ultimately, but that higher option price and the 1% a year price, and we're able to gift that back through our program in the form of either down payment assistance or closing cost concession, or a combination of both. So for customers in that case, they've 100% financing of their home when they've turned around to purchase it, using the equity and the appreciation in their home value that they've earned over their time in our program. So that's really exciting for people. And in terms of what that amount comes to, it's a division factor. So it's somewhere around 20 to 25% often of their monthly payment is what's accruing and accumulating towards that assistance.
Yeah, so it's generally between $400 and $650 a month of their payment, and so that accumulates over that time. We gift it to them, and on average, I think we're still running, in terms of home sales to our customers through those conversions, we're just over like $22,000 in assistance per home. So it's a significant amount of their monthly payment is credited to them that they earn, over that period of time. And it's important to note that that's earned over the first 24 months of their payments with us. And so I know we're off track, but this is always an important question. So, those first 24 months is when they make that for paying their payments on time, right? So our lenders, meaning when they're ready to buy, they're looking at payment history. So we built this so that we're encouraging on-time payment, so that they can show on their credit report and also in their payment history details with us to the lender that they've been able to make the housing payment on this home. And so they're a better risk than, other types of borrowers, quite frankly, in purchasing the home that they already are leasing through us with our purchase option at our program. So, that's just really important to understand, because sometimes people will look at purchasing early and assuming the first mortgage, which they can do that. They're just not going to earn all of that until the end of the 24th month. So that's something that's good for you guys to communicate with people who are indicating they might want to buy early. They can. They're just going to not earn all of that home purchase assistance from us if they decide to buy early. And we have that happen from time to time, but most people from us purchase, kind of midway through their second and third year. And then, we also have folks that need to extend that aren't quite there. And we will extend, a standard trio lease that's for 3 years for an additional 2 years, provided those families are households, they've made application with a lender, or we understand clearly from their situation what's causing that delay. And of course, that they're not in default, right? I mean, they're making their payments on time. They're doing the stuff they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And that's
a great question. Yeah.
It is a great question. And that's, oftentimes, just to, wrap it up, is I often will tell customers when I'm asked, why in such a hurry? Your price isn't changing. It's going to stay the same. You might as well maximize your credits and your opportunity, and you're still getting the appreciation, from your home value. So I don't know, but some people just, they just are in a hurry for whatever reason, and they're willing to pay that adjustment. So
and our lease allows them to do it. So I mean, that's the good news, is we don't have any cliffs. It's just, you just don't earn it all if you buy early. I mean, that's how it works.
Absolutely. Great question, Paul. Thank you so much. All right. We've got some important revisions to 2021. So I want to make sure that we talk about that. The first one is our revised broker fee agreement. And I think that the ink's still drying on the paper on this one, right, guys? So it's really exciting on this one. But let's talk about who has to sign this, because we do get questions about this sometimes. Patrick, why don't you go ahead and take that over?
Well, for starters, the obvious is any new brokerage firm working with our program will sign it to participate. And then it is in the form of an addendum. So if your firm already has a broker agreement with us, then we'll just look for the addendum to be signed and incorporated into that. And like you're doing now on every transaction, when you upload that purchase and sale contract and get that into our system, you're also signing and uploading the existing broker fee agreement that we've had, the addendum. And so this is going to just take the place of that. So you'll still do the same thing that you've always done. You just have a new agreement with our new terms that we've rolled out for 2021 that are much more favorable for you. And so you don't have to really do anything until you, if you're already working with us, you really don't have to do anything until you have a transaction, and then you can sign it then. But you're always welcome to turn those in early too. So will be on our website though.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a good revision. I'm primarily for the broker fee agreement. It's there. The addendum's the significant part, and that's, providing those incentives and discounts that we talked about right before the end of the year. And we'll get into those in just a minute. And we did simplify the language a little bit. So that should be helpful as well moving forward.
Absolutely. It's definitely much more broker friendly. I'm sure that they will look at it and sign it right away. No problem at all. But like you just said, Daryl, the new referral fee structure is also out for 2021. And this is something, well, actually, both these things are things that we have heard from agents and brokers throughout 2020, right? And we listened, and we've obviously gone ahead and made these changes. So appreciate the feedback. This is always really, really helpful. So why don't we kind of go over that? Who wants to take what the first transaction is? Patrick, why don't you do it? I'm gonna throw it to you. You're in the middle, so you're in the middle. At least on my screen, you're in the middle. So there you go.
Okay, so basically, here's the difference for all of you that have gone through our training, have passed the test, and are now Trio preferred agents. Your first submission in terms of a new contract into Trio with a customer, your broker fee, referral fee, will be 20% on the first transaction. So in last year it was 25%. This year it's 20% on the first transaction. Aaron, do you want me to keep going, or are you gonna?
No, I'm just going to chime in real quick. No, and it's always good for us to go over this. And the reason why is I even got a Facebook message about this the other day, and somebody commented on Facebook saying, so that means that I have to pay 80% of my commission to Trio, right? The answer to that is no. So I just want to make sure that that's why we're going over this again, so everybody completely understands. This is better for you. This is good news for you, right?
It's a reduction in the fee, not an increase in the fee.
Exactly,
And
the reduction.
And it's an incentive structure for people that, do work with us on a regular basis and close multiple transactions. So I think that's really the main thing, is that we wanted to differentiate the folks that are really working with us and dedicated to us, and reward that structure and reward it quickly.
Absolutely. But even then, just the folks that are with us right now, if you close a transaction with us in 2020, that was 25% referral fee. The first one for 2021 is already 5% down, right? So, all right, Patrick, yes, I'm going to hand the ball back on over to you on that one for the second transaction of the year. And we want to see a lot of agents get to that second transaction.
Correct. And we already have a handful of agents that have more than 2 in that are going to benefit even.
That's great.
The one I'm going to tell you now. So for your second transaction, that referral fee drops from 20% to 15%. So that's on your second. So what we're trying to do is to recognize and reward, as Daryl just said, and Aaron did as well, reward and recognize the agents that are working with our program and really pushing to help customers attain, homeownership through Trio. So for that, we go from 20% on the first transaction to 15% on the second transaction.
That's great. And then Daryl, how about you? How the third transaction? What happens on that?
We're trying to keep the math simple. So on the third transaction, we go all the way down to 10%. So, I mean, that's a huge difference, right? By the time you get to your third transaction, that's 15% more that you're retaining. And so, yeah, I think, again, we're accelerating that down so that, you get through your first 3 transactions, you're down to 10%. So that's a, again, I think just rewarding, folks that are working with us on a regular basis.
And that 10% will then stay with you for the rest of the year after that third closing. And at that point, you will also earn the distinction of not being just a Trio Preferred agent. You'll be getting that Trio Preferred Agent Plus status, which is really, really nice. So we're really excited about that. And then what about referrals? Yeah, go ahead, Daryl.
Yeah, I was going to say, and remember that with all those downward progressions, we're still providing the $400 credit to the customer. So you're still able to market and reward that marketing by getting that customer to you, retaining it, giving them that credit. We're still providing that credit. So nothing's changed as far as the consumer side of it. So that's great for everybody.
I'm glad you brought that up too. That's actually a question that we got this week on Facebook as well, in terms of does that $400 come out of the agent's commission? And the answer to that is no.
It never has. And no, good question. But yeah, we don't tend to clarify that because it's just a given in-house. I mean, that's something that we contribute towards the customer's reduction in their fees. And they receive that credit when they sign their lease, so well before closing. So it's coming out of our funds, well before the closing of the home even happens.
Well, that's great. I mean, I joked earlier that it's a much friendlier 2021. Trio is being very generous, I think, in 2021. And like you said, Patrick, we already have several agents with several closings already booked in January and beyond, which is really, really exciting. Love to see those people become homeowners, right?
You got it. Yep.
Cool. Well,
and referrals. We didn't quite hit that. So.
Oh, you're right. I'm so sorry.
So
go ahead.
So just so, and everybody understands, so outbound referrals. So when we have a customer, and we do these all the time, customer that comes to us directly and you're a TPA, those get outbounded to you. Those will stay at 25%. So in that case, you didn't spend your time and money in acquiring that customer. They came directly to us, and we're giving that to you as an approved customer now ready to go shopping. Those we're going to keep at 25%. So you'll know that obviously because we send that outbound referral. But just so you know, it's a little bit more complicated than just everything at 25. But for everybody that's out there, when you're doing the work to bring customers into our program, you're going to get, rewarded for that.
Well, I think you should. What you said there is great, because we are sending an approved customer
Correct.
to that agent, right? You don't have to spend, like you said, that time and energy in terms of marketing, but also to get them to, complete that application and go through that part of the process. You have somebody who just wants to go shopping and see what their options are.
Yeah. And I think that's the great thing about that is we've done all the work to acquire that customer, spent the money to do it. And we've also got them prepped and ready to go. So the thing that agents need to understand is when they get that referral, they need to move on it, because these people are ready to get a house. And when we get frustrated is when we do all that work and our teams have prepped these folks, they've got their approval letters in hand, and then we're not getting feedback from the agents we're sending them to. It's like, well, wait a minute, we just gave you a gift here. You got someone who's ready, approved to go find a house. So it's kind of, I know everybody listening, that's not you, I'm sure. It's somebody else, but it's like, we send these gifts out to people. It's like, wait a minute, these guys are ready to go. And you'd expect a call would be there immediately, email follow-up immediately. And some of you guys do that, don't get me wrong, but it's always amazing to me, having managed hundreds of agents in the past, when you get someone who gets that lead and they're too busy to respond for a day and a half. Really? Anyway, enough of my rant. We can move on to the rest of the show.
No problem. Don says new referral fee structure is awesome and generous. Thank you guys. Looking forward to closing several in 2021. Love to hear that, Don. My wife and I were just watching a show called House in a Hurry. Have you seen this, where somebody needs to get a house really quickly on HGTV? No. It's very emotional, right? But when you're ready to buy, right? And you're ready to start making that commitment, like what you're saying, Daryl. And, you don't sit on it, right? When we're giving them to you, they're alive, they're ready to go. They're ready to go shopping for a home right there. And usually that means that they are, they're fully committed and ready to go. All right. So that kind of leads us to our final thoughts. And my final thought for everybody is to think outside the box. I want you to challenge yourself to be different in 2021. I talked with an agent yesterday who said that their numbers went down in 2020 from the year before. And when I asked them, hey, what did you do different in 2020 in terms of your marketing and your approach and, just your whole strategy, they said nothing. And so obviously, that's what we don't want to see happen. We want to help you think outside that box. So work with lenders on loan denials. I talked with a lender just yesterday who said he would love to work with agents on loan denials. Reach out to your local lender that you're working with. Make connections with home builders. We've obviously talked about Sonia in the Houston area, who's done awesome at that. But other agents are starting to kind of understand how to do that and what to do with it. Start making connections with home builders right now, so that by the time spring hits and summer hits, you've already made those connections, right? You're not kind of scrambling to go ahead and do that. I also want to point out you should farm leads from Trio-friendly title companies, right? Trio-friendly title companies are ones that have been trained with us, that are ready to go, that want to go ahead and work with us and understand our process. And I'm sure that you guys can kind of comment on unfriendly Trio title companies and that it kind of takes a little bit more time, right, to go ahead and close a home and things like that. So that's why they would be unfriendly, but friendly ones will obviously provide fantastic farming leads. I've got a couple calls today with some title companies just to kind of talk about that. Sorry, Daryl, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, we don't really have any unfriendly title companies. Just it takes them a while to understand how we work, and it's just different. So if we're not closing a home and it's somebody that and they've got leads and lists, by all means work with them. It's just if we've got closings with them, then they've got to understand our process and our mail away signings and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that is we talk about fidelity a lot in terms of as a title company. And, Fidelity does offer preferred pricing, for their title policies with us. And so that's that's a direct cost that goes into the total cost and how we set the option price. So, there is a benefit to the customer when you work with the title companies that are, familiar with our program and offer incentives for our program. So.
Absolutely. Those Fidelity family title companies do great work. First American also does great work with us. And those are just a few of the, like I said, friendly ones. But those are ones that are working with us. But they also really provide fantastic farming for you. So, and when you are asking for any farming, think of it like golf. You want the smallest number possible, right? So be as specific as you can, right? You can look at the FICO score. You can look at the income. Some title companies I've talked to, they can even let you know, hey, you know what? Let's only look at customers that have 3 months left on their rental agreement or 6 months left on their rental agreement, right? So some can provide even more detailed information. So, be as detailed as possible, certain areas, not just zip codes, certain, neighborhoods and things like that. The more specific you can get, the easier it's going to be for you. And like what Daryl said earlier, you're not going to be wasting your time and energy talking to everybody in the neighborhood. You're only going to be talking to the 17 or 20 people that will actually qualify for the program, that are eager to go ahead and move into home ownership. So that's just a friendly reminder of all the things that you can do different in 2021. And if you ever have questions about it, or if you want to kind of, brainstorm ideas, myself and other members of our marketing team are always willing to sit down with you and kind of help you build that part of your business. Absolutely.
Hey, Aaron, I will add on the title company thing is that when an agent is working with a new escrow officer that's maybe not familiar with our program, it's super helpful if you are proactive and engaged. And even though our team tries to do that, oftentimes some of these agents are so busy with refis and everything else going on that they don't even pick up the file until we're about to close. And then they scramble to try to catch up and get familiar with our program. And that's not helpful and often leads to delayed closing. So the more proactive our agents can be with the escrow officers to say, we really need to make sure this is your first trio transaction, that you've got everything lined up ahead of time and not waiting till we're about to close. So that would be the last thing I would add. Yeah.
Oops. I think we lost him.
Yeah, he went silent again.
Can you hear me okay?
Now we can.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my phone was ringing. I muted it real quick. I see one of the agents that was actually on here is calling me right now. So, but that is actually the end of today's segment. Thank you to everyone who attended. Daryl, Patrick, thank you so much for being on as always. And guys, let's have a great 2021. Really excited for what's to come. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to help you out. All right.
So Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.